No, don't start another episode. Okay. Screw the construction. Screw the fact that I'm filming in front of an open window. I have to get this out there. Screw the fact that I have to leave for class, like, now. I just need to put on my coat and my sunglasses and walk out the door. That is how ready I was to leave. But I just finished the 4th episode of Queer Eye. I just started watching it. I know, I'm a bad gay. And I had to get these thoughts out before I went to class. So if I'm late, I'm not sure if you're watching this, WT. So the reason I'm so emotional about it right now is I've been thinking about making this video, and actually, on the one hand, I wish I had made it sooner, but on the other hand, I'm glad I waited until I was kind of in this state after watching Queer Eye. Shut up, I'm trying to be gay. So I went to see Love, Simon over spring break. Me being me, I got home and I was like, to my entire family, I was like, everyone, we have to go see Love, Simon, and if you refuse to go, you're homophobic. My sister thought it was funny. My parents were like, okay. I gotta say, initially when I first saw the trailers for Love, Simon, I wasn't psyched. I saw it and I was like, gay representation, but also my brain was thinking, of course, we just have a white boy who's gay. And the line in the trailer that irked me was, or I'm just like everybody else, I just have one huge ass secret. I'm gay. And I was kind of watching it like, really? And this was all before I knew about the representation of queer people of color in it, which, spectacular. Thank you. White boy or no white boy, I'm here to support my people, so of course I went to go see it, and of course I made my whole family go. Wish I had a bigger family so we could have more ticket sales. And in watching it, I saw and I realized something that I had never been able to see captured on film before. It kind of goes directly back to that line, I have one huge ass secret, I'm gay. The way they show it in Love, Simon is that Simon goes to a fairly liberal high school in LA, I think it is. He has a very, very liberal family, very accepting parents, and he has a really great group of friends around him that love him and care about him, and many of them have known him for a really, really long time. But he's still scared to come out. Like, really, really scared. And the way the film showed it was so exactly my experience. Because I went to a really liberal school. I had an excellent group of friends around me, and I knew my family was really accepting. But I still was scared in a way that I couldn't really put into words, and I still can't fully put it into words. It's just something where the movie describes it as you feel like you're holding your breath, and that's so accurate. The fact that this movie tapped into it in a way that I've never seen on screen before, because it wasn't just the typical melodramatic, moody, broody, like, oh, how can anyone accept me? I don't know why they're German. It was that kind of, you know that they'll accept you, but you're still afraid because you know it'll change things, or you feel like it'll change things, whether or not it does. Just like in the movie, one of the first people I came out to was actually not that close of a friend of mine. He just happened to be one of the first people to point blank ask me. And I had made this decision not to lie about it ever, if asked. Obviously, when I told my friends and my family, it was perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine. It went swimmingly, shall we say. And it was the kind of thing where afterward I was like, what was I so scared of? Sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional. I'm just really gay, guys. I'm really, really gay. Because there's this fear in the community that being who we are openly somehow changes the way people perceive us, and it does. It does in a way. It's something that takes getting used to. And it was just really, really beautiful and exciting to see that kind of story finally put on film, to kind of give this understanding of what it's like to grow up with this knowledge of yourself and with this fear, and knowing that the fear is irrational but having it anyway. You know, some people have very good reason to be afraid. Some people know they're growing up in homophobic areas and they know what coming out will do to them, and those stories deserve to be told as well. But for those of us who kind of don't have that experience, it's really hard for us to explain why we're so scared. And for the film to illustrate that beautifully and perfectly, and obviously Love, Simon isn't the be-all end-all of gay stories. It's just a really, really good start. And the energy in the theater that I saw it in was amazing. There were a lot of groups of teenagers there that were seeing it with their friends. A lot of them, not to stereotype, but there were a lot of groups of straight girls that I saw. And at the end, spoiler alert, I guess, it's a rom-com, so there's an end, there's a kiss, it's beautiful. There were literal claps and cheers, and it was really heartwarming to me. I was more moved by the audience reaction than by the film itself, just by the fact that there were people who very clearly weren't going to have this experience in their life, but were still relating to it on the same level that queer people have always been expected to relate to straight stories. And that's the point of it all. It's seeing these not as gay or as straight stories, but as stories that people can relate to, because even if you're not gay, I'm sure there have been things you've been afraid to tell the people close to you. For some people it's an illness or a hobby or a fetish. Maybe keep that one to yourself. Don't need to go telling your parents about that. Lesbian is just a really important movie. It's a really important movie to me and to a lot of people, and I'm so glad that it exists, and that it exists as well and as intelligently and as heartwarmingly as it does. And there's even that little bit of the dry gay humor in it, which is something that is sorely underrepresented in the media. I'm just saying. The only problem with this movie, only one, is my boy Simon is out here driving his friends everywhere. Everyone knows gays can't drive. Do your research, writers, even though I didn't look up your names. I know it's based on a book, and I know that the author consulted with a lot of queer support groups, which is amazing. So this episode has been brought to you by what may be the strangest coming outs. This episode has been brought to you by perhaps the strangest coming out interactions ever to happen, which can be summed up in my 3 immediate family members. My sister thought I was clowning. My mom's knee-jerk response was, well, at least we don't need to worry about you getting pregnant. And my dad's... This episode is actually brought to you by the Cialis commercial that sparked me coming out to my dad. Because I'm watching TV with my dad and my sister, and a Cialis commercial comes on, and I said something like, well, glad I'm never going to have to deal with that. And my dad's like, well, what if your boyfriend or your husband has it? And I go, I'm not going to have a boyfriend. And this was right after I'd broken up with my one and only boyfriend that I've had thus far in my life. So my dad's like, oh, don't be like that. You'll find someone. And I was like, no, Dad, it's because I'm interested in girls. Which it was just like this, nothing. And that was it. Also, I need to give an honorable mention to that ex-boyfriend, whom I love dearly with all my heart, because when I told him, he immediately said, awesome. I was like, what? Why? He's like, well, because it means I didn't do anything wrong, right? You just broke up with me because I'm not a girl? I was like, I mean, yeah, actually. He was a really great boyfriend. I just have a lot of gay feelings right now. If you're worried about coming out to the people close to you, people will say it a million times. They'll say all the cliches of, like, the people who matter won't care and the people who care don't matter. But I still know it's hard. Believe me, I know. My mom played on a basketball team in college that was almost entirely lesbians, and I was still worried about coming out to her. It's not rational. It'll never be rational, but it's something that we have to deal with for the foreseeable future. As much as I was digging my heels in the ground saying, I'm not going to come out, coming out is antiquated, I still had to come out. It's something we have to deal with, and it sucks, and it isn't going away anytime soon, so far as I can see. So I guess my only advice will be figure out ways that make sense to you. If getting your family together and doing a big presentation doesn't feel right, because it didn't feel right for me, do what I did. Wait for a Cialis commercial. Or, the way I came out to my mom was I handed her the form for the parent to sign for me to be in my high school's Gay Straight Alliance. And she goes, why do you want to join this? Are you gay? I was like, yeah. She was like, since when? To which my sister replied, since ever, Mom. And then there was the iconic, well, at least we don't have to worry about you getting pregnant line. So find what works for you. If you're in an unsafe environment, as much as it sucks and as much as it hurts, wait until you're in a safe environment with people you can really trust to share that part of yourself. that's what college is for. I think that's all I have to say on the matter. I need to go get my gay ass to class before I flunk Chinese, because I did this instead of studying for the quiz that I have in 30 minutes. I know the stereotype is gays can't do math, but just help me out. Can we just go with gays aren't academically inclined? Can we make that full transition, please? Because I need an excuse for everything. I blame most of everything about me on being gay, and the light is gone, which means it is really time for me to go. I need to stop procrastinating going to class and go the hell to class. So, I'm gay, we're all a little bit gay, it's fine, at least we're not straight.